Hello and welcome to Ode to Local Authors, presented to you today by Charlotte County Libraries and History. My name is Judy Domzalski, and I'd like to welcome Deborah Robinson, who is a local author and is going to be introducing herself shortly and reading some excerpts from her books. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. My name is Deborah Robinson. I am 62 years old. I've been writing for about probably 12 years or so, something like that. I have 2 books that I have published and written, and the first one is Tough Guys, A Journey of Heroes. My second is A Girl from Pinnabog. I'd like to focus on Tough Guys, A Journey of Heroes. It is about my late husband who lost his life to one of the Agent Orange diseases from Vietnam, and our son who lost his life through military connection from complications from post-traumatic stress disorder with the latest war. I am going to read a short excerpt of why I write and why I began writing and what it all kind of morphed into as I went along. So, I grew up in Carroll, Michigan, and that is where I raised my family. I hadn't thought a lot about the military, even though I was married to a Vietnam veteran. It was not common practice at that time for veterans to voice their feelings about the experience they'd had in the military. In 2002, my husband was diagnosed with an Agent Orange related cancer, and just over a year later, I became a 45-year-old widow. Our 18-year-old son, Brian, had followed in his father's footsteps and was serving a tour in Afghanistan with the 82nd Airborne Division, supporting Operation Enduring Freedom. A dollar store journal became a valued coping tool for me. Each day's entry included concerns about my son, who was beginning to show signs of anxiety and what I now know as post-traumatic stress disorder. One more tour, this time in Iraq, deepened Brian's affliction and the emotional chaos that he suffered. I watched his 3-year commitment come to an end, and I prayed that he would recover and have a successful life. Sadly, this did not happen, as he was diagnosed with severe post-traumatic stress disorder, and his life spiraled downward. With no idea where to start, I worked diligently and learned some very tough lessons. I focused solely on helping my son get his treatment, file his disability claim, and I learned rockily to maneuver through the Veterans Administration system. It was frustrating as the required paperwork proved too complicated at the time for my afflicted son to handle on his own. Contacting politicians for assistance in securing the proper care for Brian often became necessary as we hit many brick walls in the system. There were times when I had to ask and beg that my Brian remain in jail as I searched for a space in a veterans hospital for him to be treated. Law enforcement didn't feel that he should be in jail, but sometimes there were no more options. Detox beds were often unavailable, mental health appointments could take a long time to secure, and my son was too fragile. Substance abuse, often a symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder, can be a lethal condition to deal with. There is not always time to work through the red tape and find substance abuse treatment. An extra day can prove deadly in such an afflicted veteran. I learned to be assertive, and I advocated for Brian's care. His care became my full-time job. Several family members and friends helped with Brian, which gave me a much-needed rest. The care and advocacy of caring for a sick veteran can be exhausting. It can make the caregiver suffer greatly. Spreading awareness and resources for veteran struggles proved difficult while I advocated for Brian's care. There was seldom enough time or energy. Since Brian's death, 9 years ago this week, I continue to write short stories, filled with true life experiences, and work to find venues to share his story, voicing what I think could be improved in the Veterans Administration system will hopefully help other families. There have been strides made in understanding and treating the needs of afflicted veterans. Still more resources need to be made available because our nation's heroes deserve respect and they need help to find programs and support to heal. I have 12 short stories in here. They're memoir type. They're what we did. They are very personal. They're about my son Brian and his dad, my late husband. And I have actually either donated or sold 500 copies of this book. I'm nearly out, but they on my website, which is debrobinson.net, you can buy it electronically. The price is on there. And also, my newest book, A Girl from Pinnebog, much more lighthearted, still memoir style. I would like to read a short story from A Girl from Pinnebog. My parents were raised in Pinnebog, a little teeny town that didn't even have a post office. It still doesn't, but I found it had a street sign. So I went there, and here I go. Any of you folks who are snowbirds and have done the Florida commute, you may be able to relate to this. And if you're approaching senior citizenhood, you will even get it a little bit more. So here we go. Florida commute, day number 2, 8 o'clock a.m. This is with my sweetheart Dave and I. Deb, will you look at that? We're on the road and it's exactly 8 o'clock. I'll drive first so you can enjoy your second cup of coffee, honey. Oh, thanks, you're so sweet. I'll get the GPS out and see just how many miles to our hotel for tonight. Did I thank you for mapping out all of our stops? Oh, Deb, yes you did. I appreciate you making the hotel reservations too. We're a good team, aren't we? 1 o'clock p.m. Dave, it is now 1 o'clock and I'm hungry. Didn't we agree to stop every couple of hours and stretch? My right hip is getting so stiff. Well, Deb, we stopped for a bathroom break just a little while ago. You call that a bathroom? The line of people waiting outside of the men's room should have been our first sign. I can still see the distressed look on that lady's face as she told us to trust her and don't even think of going into the ladies' room. Ew, it still makes me cringe. And furthermore, that was at least 3 hours ago. Well, if you want to travel, that's just the chance you have to take sometimes, Deb. Dave, the sign said Ed's Gas Shack. Maybe it wasn't the best choice. Deb, not to change this fascinating topic, but if you were to choose a place to eat lunch right now, what would you prefer? I certainly want this restaurant to meet your standards, sweetie. Dave, you know I'm not that fussy, so quit being a jackass. I think I'd like to stop at a Cracker Barrel. And how many hours are you going to browse in the gift shop? That stuff's all the same. Can't we just eat? I promised to hurry, honey. I need to check the after Christmas clearance items. Besides that, at this rate, we'll be getting to our hotel room by 4:30. What in the heck are we going to do for all those hours in our hotel room? Well, Deb, a few years ago, you wouldn't have had to ask that. 5 o'clock p.m. Look, here's our exit for the day's inn. There's a Waffle House right next door. Oh, honey, that's your favorite. I'm so excited about the stuffed Santas and Grinch pajamas we found at the Cracker Barrel for the grandkids. Can you even believe the deal we got? What a steal. I almost feel guilty for what I paid for them. I love a great deal, don't you, Dave? Honey, what's wrong? You don't look very happy. Deb, not only do I have big creepy Santa Claus heads staring at me in my rearview mirror, but we have to haul this crap home with us too. Don't even pretend that you won't be shopping for even more stuff over the next 3 months. These bargains you sniff out drive me crazy. Well, Dave, someone seems a wee bit cranky. I'm going to politely disregard you calling these lovely gifts crap. I'm guessing that some of those smothered hash browns you like so well at the Waffle House will make you feel better. I'll go check in and you can just stretch your legs, honey. Deb, I'm not that hungry, and could we please make a new plan for next year's commute to Florida? Could we please not feel a need to fill every square inch of this car? I'm sometimes surprised that you leave a spot for me in here. Oh, Dave, don't be silly. Who brought 3 computers, a printer, and a full set of golf clubs? I'm pretty sure you brought more clothes than I did, too. Don't even try to insinuate that all this stuff is mine. This is our last night on the road, so let's try to get along. If we go to the Waffle House right now, we should be on time for the early bird dinner special and still be back in our room to watch Jeopardy. I haven't had cheesy hash browns since we passed through last spring. There's just something about them. Dave, it's called grease and carbs, and it's probably good Michigan doesn't have a Waffle House, because I don't like you eating that stuff. It's not good for your cholesterol. I know, and you're right. I have just one more question, Deb. The last that I counted, we have 6 grandchildren. There must be at least twice that many Santas back there looking at me. Well, actually, Dave, I bought all they had, so there should be 18 of them. Dave, you should have seen the face on that lady when she was behind me at the Cracker Barrel. It was absolute envy. So, Deb, did you see the guy that was with her laughing at me? Oh, he was probably just jealous of my awesome find. Can you even imagine getting 60% off? That's phenomenal. Those hash browns are calling my name. There's no gift shop at the Waffle House, is there? Sorry, Deb, I couldn't resist. By the way, what is that chiming noise that your phone keeps making? Is the battery low? Well, actually, Dave, that was a text alert from Bell's. They're having a 2-hour early bird sale in the morning, and we'll need to be very prompt tomorrow getting on the road. I'm so glad that you talked me into getting this smartphone before we came down this year, because I may never miss another sale. Thank you. That's Florida Commute. There are 18 short stories in this book. They're all memoir type, but a little more entertaining than a chronological journal. So with that, I have 200 of these little gems left. They are available on my website. The reason I have so many is because the pandemic hit and I haven't been able to do book signings at libraries. I would like to encourage folks to write their story down, to write memories and silly things and all of the things that make up our history, as I have done. I would also like to thank you for joining us for the Ode to Local Writers at the Charlotte County Libraries in History. Thank you so much.